What's going on, Steeler fans? If you love the black and yellow, I want you to go ahead and like the video right now. Show the Pittsburgh Steelers that you really, truly care about them. What's going on, y'all? It's Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and you're watching Steelers Talk. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to go through the 5 free agents that I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers should go out and at least target in 2022 NFL free agency. With all that being said, the Steelers have been a pretty active team thus far. I'd probably put them somewhere right around the middle of the pack. Probably the biggest splash that they made because, well, it's a quarterback, is Mitchell Trubisky on that 2-year, $14.25 million deal. Chukwuma Okorafor, 3-year, $29.25. Mason Cole at 3 years, $15.75. Montravis Davis, I got Davis in my mind. 2-year, $5 million. James Daniel, a very versatile offensive lineman. Somebody that was really happy that Pittsburgh ended up going out and getting in that 3-year, $26.5. I thought that was a pretty good deal. Levi Wallace, Dwayne Haskins is coming back. And then another solid move that Pittsburgh was able to go out and make was getting linebacker Myles Jack on that 2-year, $16 million. Also, Akil Witherspoon on that 2-year, $8 million deal. Very versatile cornerback for the Steelers last season. So as it stands right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have about $20 million in cap space. The reason why I'm saying about is because Spotrac over the cap, they always try to keep these numbers up to date with all these players' contracts coming in left and right. A few of the deals are still TBA. I see over the cap has them right about 20-21, and Spotrac has them just a hair over 21. So when in terms of a lot of the other teams, they rank somewhere between 12th, 13th, or 14th for most salary cap space as it stands right now. So the players that you're going to be seeing coming up here are not necessarily ranked in any particular order. I do have some of these names based on big-time needs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's some other, I'll say, free agents that some people might say, that's a better player. But I'm going based on player, fit, and overall need here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The first name coming up here is Terron Armstead. Played last season with the New Orleans Saints, and nobody's really going to debate whether or not Armstead is a legitimate offensive tackle. We've made the argument here at Chat Sports. I believe I've made the argument on this show before. If you could guarantee me Armstead plays 15 games, he probably would have been my number 1 overall ranked free agent because when he's on the field, he is arguably the best offensive tackle. The issue is the injuries are piling and piling up, and I don't know if there's been a year in the last 5 years where he has played over 15 games. If he's healthy, he could be that dude for y'all. If he's not, though, that becomes the issue. So Armstead's on the left side of the offensive line. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the right side offensive line. La'el Collins, who spent last season with the Dallas Cowboys. I personally think he's one of the better offensive tackles in all of football. He's got some off-the-field issues, and I think most Cowboys fans would tell you he can be a little bit of a headache sometimes. But you know what? Being able to go out and find elite tackle talent is not that difficult. So Collins, to me, who had an 89.2 overall run blocking grade last year for the Cowboys, is definitely something to keep in mind. So you got a left tackle here, you got a right tackle. Could you potentially move Chukwuma to the left? I mean, what I would do is, like, if you can go out and get Armstead, keep him over there on the right. Or maybe if you go ahead and get Collins, kick him over to the left, right? So he's 6'6", 320-pounder out of Western Michigan. Played 16 games last season, allowed 2 sacks. I like the fact that he was re-signed. It's a good move. However, I mean, Terron Armstead and La'el Collins are better options. Also, the fact that you go out and get a versatile player like James Daniels also helps you a lot. He has experience playing both guard positions. He also has been a tackle at one point in his career. He played in 17 games last season for Chicago, and I'll go ahead on record and say Chicago was one of the worst offensive lines in all of football last season. And if it wasn't for James Daniel, who coming into this offseason I said could actually be one of the better bang-for-your-buck players out there, and I think that they got him on a good deal. Here's another move that they made. Mason Cole, center. Played 8 games last year, 2 sacks allowed. I know when you had Big Ben, a lot of people, they want to be able to check the ball around, chuck it around. But, I mean, you drafted Najee Harris, and Najee Harris is a true bell cow running back. And with this defense that Pittsburgh has, I get that a lot of people are excited about Mitch Trubisky, and that's fine. But to make sure that Mitch Trubisky ends up working out, you got to be able to rely on the running game. So building the front, winning in the trenches, get back to old school Pittsburgh Steelers football, and then that's not going to put too much pressure on Trubisky. So you guys go ahead and you tell me, have the Steelers done enough to improve their offensive line? And I like this question enough because I'm from the Pittsburgh area, kind of. I know how much you guys like the offensive line. So I'm going to make this the pinned comment of today's video. I want you to go ahead and type G for we're good or A for add more. Next player coming up here is Jarvis Landry, and I like what Landry has been able to do in his time, whether that was with the Miami Dolphins or even the past few years with the Cleveland Browns. Losing Juju Smith-Schuster is going to hurt, and Juju did most of his work over the past few seasons inside the slot. You got a solid outside guy in Deontay Johnson. Chase Claypool needs to get his head on straight because when it is on straight, I think he's one of the better outside in terms of talented receivers out there. So you have two big guys who you can rely on the outside. If you're able to go out and get Jarvis on a cheaper contract, steal him away from somebody who was in your division. Last season, he had 52 grabs, 570 yards, 2 touchdowns. However, some of the injuries started to pop up, and I'm a little bit curious what Father Time's got going on. But Baker Mayfield also sucks. And maybe Jarvis, just like OBJ, when you go to another team, wow, would you look at that? You actually do halfway decent. So I'm curious, y'all. What's the Steelers' biggest need after all the free agent signings thus far? Do you still believe it's offensive line? Is it wide receiver? Is it a defensive piece? Let me know what y'all are thinking is the biggest need. I understand that it's March and it's almost April, but I grew up in Pennsylvania, and you need a winter hat in Pennsylvania, especially in Pittsburgh. I get it. Chicago's known as the Windy City. But if you're walking around, whether you're going to a Steelers game, a Pirates game, a Penguins game, and it's the wind is always whipping. I know it for a fact. So make sure you're staying warm. So whether it's that winter hat, whether it's a nice little coat here, we got an awesome sale going on. It's chatsports.com/Steelers sale. That link is going to be available for y'all in the comments and in the description of today's video. And I don't know about y'all, but my girlfriend, she's always like, well, if you want me to wear your favorite team stuff, well, then you got to go ahead and get it for me. Hell, I would wear these socks. They look comfortable as hell. So if you want them, go ahead, get them while they last. It's chatsports.com/Steelers sale. Let's go to the next position here, and it's Akiem Hicks, defensive tackle, played last season with the Chicago Bears. When I look at the Steelers defense, and it's still one of the most complete defenses out there in the league, no doubt about it. However, you're about to now try to deal with Deshaun Watson for the Browns and that running game. You're then going to have to try to deal with the Baltimore Ravens and that running game. And you also got Joe Burrow, who's got a good running game, and Joe Mixon. You need to still beef up that defensive line because you can make the realistic argument that the AFC North right now is legit, and it's one of the best divisions out there. And you still then got to compete with a lot of other teams. I mean, look at everything that Denver did. Look at everything the Chiefs are. I mean, the Raiders right now going out and get Devontae Adams. The Chargers, like there's so many teams, Josh Allen in the AFC, where you need to have a player like Akiem Hicks who can come in there, be a run stopper, give you that extra guy, that big old dude. I get he's getting up there in age a little bit, but 3.5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. That's why I think he's the guy to go out and add, and probably the top DT out there for Pittsburgh. The final name I'm going to go here, and this one, he's a great player. Zadaria Smith, no doubt about it. But this is like the kill 2 birds with 1 stone type of signing, right? Last season, didn't play a lot, had an injury. I believe he played only 1 game. The years before that, though, in 2020, 12.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss, 52 tackles. The year before that, 13.5 sacks. The year before that, 8.5 sacks. The other reason why I love this move for Pittsburgh is because Smith signed with the Baltimore Ravens, at least he kind of did, and then at the last minute decided to pull out. Maybe something Tom should have done. All I'm saying is this. If you can go ahead and do something like that to really just drive it into the back of the Baltimore Ravens, your division rival, I say you got to go ahead and try to do it. It would be pretty interesting if they were able to go ahead and pull that deal off. So those are my top 5. So what do you guys think here, all right? Let's get it going. Who's a free agent that you think the Pittsburgh Steelers should go out and get? Let me know down in the comment section. And always remember, if the Steelers make a move, we're going to go ahead. We're going to keep you updated here. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss a thing.